Was it me or did the 30 seconds go
Hi.
quick?
Yeah, are we live? Are we live yet?
We are live. We are live.
Hello, Robert.
How are you, Xanthi? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off
I'm
there.
fine. It's okay. I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, it's going. How about you?
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
no,
I didn't. I
nothing.
thought you were gonna
I
say
was just
something.
listening double voices because I had the YouTube open. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Good to see you, Robert. Good to see all of our friends online. So, it's been a long day. It's been a long week.
Yeah.
But we're here on our monthly what do you
I don't.
say? A monthly
Uh,
episode, podcast,
sure.
call it
If
what you want.
whatever folks want to call it, I could go
Yeah,
either way. So.
yeah. Where we talk about geeky, nerdy, pop culture things mainly.
Yep. Exactly.
Yes, and I think it's pretty obvious what we're going to talk about today. Yes, yes, and the reason why we are gonna talk about X-Men today, Robert, is because I have questions. I have so
Okay.
many questions. I am so
Okay.
confused. I'm a confused pop culture viewer.
Okay.
So I was hoping that you could enlighten us a bit. So,
Yes.
if I may start,
Please do.
uh, a few years ago, well, one a few, it's a lot of years ago, many years ago, like what is it, like 20 years ago? I don't know.
Yeah.
We had X-Men in the cinema. I'm going to focus on the movies, on the
Okay.
films. Okay. So we had X-Men in the cinema. It
Mhm.
was, wait, I have here the timeline. It was 2000, early 2000, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
then
Yep.
we had some follow-ups films and some more follow-ups films. And suddenly we got the Avengers.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that,
Yep.
of course.
Okay.
But then I haven't seen Professor X for a while.
Right.
What is happening, Robert? And then, what is
Yes. Yes.
happening? And then I tried to Google a bit. I was curious. Okay. I wanted to see a bit the timeline. Like, okay, the first film, is there anything? Have I missed something?
Right.
And then I got even more confused
Okay.
because you have like the X-Men and then you have the Avengers. They're both Marvel,
Yeah.
but they're not in the same, like there's some sort of separation of
Right.
schism, if I may say
Sure.
something as dramatic as that.
Okay.
What's the deal, Robert? What is happening?
So sometimes it's a
I
little
know it's a
bit.
very
Yep.
broad question.
Oh no, no, that's fine. Well, I mean, sometimes it's a little bit hard to untangle because in explaining why there's such a difference, like why some characters aren't here and why some aren't, it's hard to untangle that from like in reality, like who has rights to show what characters in a movie. So
So
before,
that's the point. Who has
yeah,
the rights to the movies?
yeah.
That's all
So I
about
mean,
the
in
money.
exactly because like in an ideal world, Marvel would have had like all the characters in uh, their cinema universe to show all the characters. But at the time, Fox the rights for um, the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. So I think right around the time when the Avengers came out, I think Fox had just gone like an update with the rosters where you had like Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, and they just switched over to him to McAvoy. And so, because they didn't have control of the characters, you didn't see them appear in the Marvel universe. You didn't see them with the Avengers, although they might have tried to like add like little clues that there was some sort of connection. Um, how that ties in what Fox had done to now, which is interesting, is when they showed the trailer for
Are we talking about the trailer? Are we talking about the trailer?
the trailer the of the Doctor Strange and the oh god, the multiverse madness of the multiverse. uh uh, it's a tongue tie, but
The
you
multiverse.
right. So that concept about the multiverse was a way to be able to integrate characters that they didn't have um the rights at the time to now migrate over to the the Marvel universe. What's tricky is that because during that time when it came out, uh, 20 years ago, God, it's still kind of hard for me to say that because it doesn't
My
seem that long ago.
God, we
Yeah,
were kids, we were babies.
yeah, something like that. But when they came out, they've had like 20 years worth of films of that Fox have done, and so they're trying to figure out, well, how can you bring over characters that Fox had already did their work into the Marvel universe. There's a couple ways they could do it. They could start from scratch and use like kind of like blow it up and have like new characters. Or either that they would try to figure out how they could integrate those characters into the Marvel universe. Um, or they just don't acknowledge them. We clearly saw in the trailer that we saw and heard.
The Doctor Strange trailer, you mean, for the new? Yeah, we
Yeah,
heard of a familiar voice and we saw a figure of a familiar or something familiar.
yeah,
And rumor has it, or I don't know if it's a rumor, or maybe it was obvious that it is Professor X.
yep.
So how is he brought up in the whole thing? We will have to wait and see, I guess. There are speculations.
Yep. I mean, the main one was in the title itself, which is the multiverse. I know, like it's almost like I'd assume like people knew what multiverse means, so I had to kind of look it up just to give a definition for those that are new to the concept or just new to
Please.
the Marvel universe. So I had to go like on a basic Wikipedia just to get a basic definition because when they start talking about string theories and astrology,
I admire your research. Good.
yeah, it was
Give
just
us
kind of like.
a definition.
So
Yes.
so the cleanest definition I found was it said the multiverse is the theory of conjectured set of multiple possible universes, including ours, which makes up the reality. Um, and they said that these universes are, let me see if I read that, are sometimes called parallel universe. A number of different versions have been considered. So it's almost
I
like
know. I know what it is. Have you and maybe people in the chat, do you remember the TV show Fringe? Fringe.
I
F
have
R I N G E. Fringe. At some point it was a group, it was an FBI. She was FBI, right? Or was it
I think so.
um she was FBI or some sort of police force. I think it was FBI. And they were doing, well, it was not paranormal, but some kind of weird stuff, fringe. And they had a parallel universe at the point. So
Yep.
it was two universes. So I guess what you said to me s- reminded me directly of that show. If someone has seen it, and also say hi to Rich in the chat and awesome good things. Is that Matt? Yes, it's Matt.
Hey
Hi,
Matt.
Miles. Robert Miles Morales says that Robert is actually Professor X.
Thanks,
Just a head
Miles.
up, the audio is out of sync with the video. It's several seconds off. Oh,
That's
thank you, Matt, for
that's
or
that's on me. I think is something with my connection here. I'll see if I can adjust that. So,
okay.
but go ahead, please go ahead.
Sorry, people. I lost my train of thought now. My yes, yes, parallel universe reminded me of Fringe. So if someone has seen it, maybe we can use that metaphor. And I was about to say, well, you were saying the definition. Please don't bring in like quantum physics or anything, because then my brain will explode. I don't have the capacity for that kind of.
No worries.
Um, but speaking of multi-universe and how they can do that with the whole Marvel characters and X-Men and Avengers, you sent me a very nice video. Uh, it which is practically like mainly like a theory of how they could do it. And I sorry I didn't manage to watch the entire video, which is it's only 15 minutes. I should have, but anyway, what I saw was like there have been many mistakes in the timeline of the existing X-Men. They have made so many that my son might come. So you know the drill. You have been here for a few episodes. If my son comes, I will just be right back if that
Right.
happens. Um, he's a little boy, that's why. so, uh, so yeah, they have made there are so many time order mistakes so that they would need to actually, as you said, start a reboot
Right.
to be able to put the multiverse together.
Right.
Something in that direction, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yep.
I think I'm going to end up being more confused after the end of this episode, and probably I'm going to confuse our chat.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack. When you said Fringe, I was thinking of an earlier show called Sliders, where um
Do you know? Can we share the screen, or can I show you
sure.
which show? Uh, I will Fringe television show. Has anyone know what I'm talking about here? For my friends in the, how am I going to? I'm going to send you a link.
Okay.
I want to find one link that has a nice big picture.
Okay.
IMDb. Let's take IMDb, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So where should I send it? On Facebook chat?
Sure. I'll
Yeah.
pull that off and I'll throw a display.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, a few seconds while I'm opening, you know,
sure. No problem.
Facebook technologies here.
But while she's doing that, anyone here looking forward to the new Doctor Strange film with the multiverse, the madness of the multiverse, tongue tie, or just like are people excited that now we're starting to see characters that we haven't seen before, like the X-Men, Fantastic Four, coming over to the MCU? Love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Did you have enough of the Avengers? Is it time for some X-Men to come back or what? Because that's what I feel. I mean, it's cool with Thor and Loki, of course, and Black Widow, of course. Like, hello, Black Widow, the best. Yeah. And we talked about it in the previous episode about Hawkeye, two
Yep.
episodes before. Amazing, of course, but I have missed the X-Men,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're cool. And
Yes.
on the list that you sent me with the correct, there is a list. We could,
Hmm.
I don't know if we can share it with our friends,
Right.
uh, or just Google the timeline, how to watch the films, in which order to watch the films,
Right.
because there is no order. The way they were released, there is no timeline order.
Right.
So you have to start with a movie that was released in 2011, and then you go to 2014, okay, and then you go back to 2009, which is Wolverine, and then we go to 2016 Apocalypse,
Yep.
and then we go to Dark Phoenix 2019, which I haven't seen this one,
Yeah. That's all right. I know
and
some people
then
had
you
mixed reviews. Hmm?
go back to the original, the one that was released in 2000, X-Men,
Yep.
and then X-Men 2, and X-Men: The Last Stand, and then Wolverine again, and then Deadpool. Right, we have Deadpool also. Exactly.
Exactly. All right. Let me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try this. This is
I'm getting
experimental.
more and more confused, guys. I don't know if you in the chat are as confused as I am, or if you can help
So
me.
sure. Let me. I'm gonna try something different. Might look different, guys, but so this is like the timeline that Xanthi was talking about earlier. Just give me a second here. All right. And see here. Okay.
Fringe was the first TV program from the makers of Lost. I think you're right. Yes, after Lost finished. Yes, it was a great show. Fringe. We're talking. We should be talking about X-Men, but now I'm talking about Fringe. It was great. It was 5 seasons, but I think the fifth season, it was about time to finish it because it started to get a bit. Yeah. Yes, that is the one that you're showing now. This is Fringe.
Yep.
That's Fringe.
Oh.
And I think on season 3, we have the parallel universe thing.
Okay.
I love that show, Fringe. I actually, eh, it kind of got a bit slow at some point, but
Uh huh.
okay, it was a good show in total. I do recommend it
Okay.
if you're into those things. Yeah. And yeah, So that's the so Fringe. Yeah.
And this was the timeline that we were talking about earlier, they had
Yes.
where they try
So
to
the timeline.
yep. So and they did it by like just based on the era. So like when they showed X-Men First Class, it implies that it was done in the '60s. So they're trying to do it like close to the timeline
Right.
periodical, but not necessarily when the movie was released, which can be confusing because when the first X-Men movie came out was in 2000, but if you look at the timeline here, they put it all the way down after Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix, and then X-Men, which
Mhm.
it seems a little bit odd, but at the same time, I kind of see like what they're going. Um,
Why? Odd? Elaborate?
okay, let me get us back. So, um, here we go.
I see
Okay,
two of me. Now I see only one of me. Yes.
so the thing was that when the movie was released in 2000, it's like roughly at the time of when it was released as what the era had reflected. And so
Mhm.
when they did the movie Days of Future Past, which was like what 2016 or something like that.
Mhm.
That was like the first time they integrated the two different casts of the X-Men where they had to go back in time. But when they did that, to try to stop an event that had catastrophic effects to the I guess you could say with Patrick Stewart's timeline. It's almost like in correcting the past, they kind of like correct almost like started like a new timeline with uh Patrick Stewart's X-Men cast, which gets a little bit confusing because it's like uh well maybe
If
they might have that when they reset the
if I may try to assist,
go ahead.
in order to make a cool movie with Patrick Stewart, they confuse the timeline of the actual X-Men in order to be able to use the actors. Is that the case?
Or either that, I know like another explanation is they could have that could be a Charles Xavier from a different timeline, like from a different universe, so that
Also, within the X-Men, we're
yeah, so
talking about different timelines.
yeah, either like a different
Mm.
timeline or it could be a different alternative universe where in his universe where either the Avengers didn't exist or maybe they came much later, but the X-Men first. So it could be reflecting that timeline, or it could be reflecting a Charles Xavier from another. It's so
From another universe, from another parallel universe. Yes, yes, yes.
which is why
It
they
is
say
confusing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so that's why they say it's a multiverse of madness, just because like at least from a fan perspective, because we don't know really know like which Charles Xavier we're seeing. It could be like a totally different version that no one's ever seen that existed in another uh alternate
Mm.
universe that's been out there, or it could be very well from the Fox's rendition of the X-Men and that they incorporated because it's not really clearly defined until we see the movie. um no one really knows, but at the same time it kind of lends to the title madness, just because you can get a little bit mad trying to figure out which way it's going, because the idea of like there's so many universes out there that's different variations. Let's say that there could be another version that we don't know that's out there of Charles Xavier, or even of the other heroes there. So, um,
So, based on the trailer of Doctor Strange, do you think we're going to see some more of Patrick of no, of Professor X in that film, or was just a teaser to tease us with not really, or what do we guess? What do we suspect? I haven't read any theories about it yet.
well, we're kind of well. I mean, because we don't really know. I mean, it could be a spoiler answer, or it could may not be. But there has been some theories that he's not like in the whole film, but in a significant amount to know what's Charles Xavier's deal is. in the movie, as well as a jumping point of how they start integrating um, the X-Men or other mutants that they haven't in the past to now through this multiverse method. So I think I think it depends on how much of a tone is set with Xavier. Now, and this is going into even further spoiler territory. When they show Xavier, he was like kind of up on these steps, and you see like some other characters that you don't really see in the
Mm-hmm,
film.
mm-hmm. The Illuminati. No,
Yeah,
I didn't say anything. Did
yeah.
I say? Okay, yes. Do we say it? Okay, yes, yes.
So they're implying that he could be a member of the Illuminati, which opens the door that he could be like a different Xavier than we may be accustomed seeing from the earlier films.
From a
And
different universe, from another multiverse, or yeah. Mm-hmm,
yeah, and based on the story plot line and how they introduce Wanda Maximoff's character in there,
mm-hmm.
they imply that he may not be in the movie that long, not because of of his doing, but like how that those characters may interact with Wanda. So that's not confirmed, but there's some people think that that the Illuminati may be how do I put this, so that that even lends further to the credence of the whole madness. Just the fact that if you have this a shadowy group that's supposed to oversee the timeline, and that they're no longer in the picture, what's gonna happen? Like
Then
what's
what happens? Everything break loose.
yeah. And
Uh,
have you seen Loki?
no, the TV show. No,
Okay,
I'm still ashamed of it, but I don't know if I want to watch it because I like. Okay, Loki, cool character, evil, but a nice development of a character, of course.
right,
But I think I have had, and it's not like I have read the comics so much, but it's been too much Avengers. I think for
right,
my liking.
right.
But I don't want to see more Avengers unless it's Black Widow. Give me Black Widow. Yes, anytime. Of course. Cool. Awesome. Yes. Everything else, Thor. Okay, I live in Sweden. Yes, it's cool. Thor, Loki, the Nordic god. Yes, of course. Yes, you know. Uh, but okay, I live it in my reality. It's okay. I don't want more. But of course, all the other characters as well. But that's a joke. It's a joke. Okay, guys, it's a joke. I love being here in Sweden, and I don't have anything against the gods, the Nordic gods. Okay, yes, Loki, please don't do anything. You're good. You're cool. Um, but like, okay, we had the whole thing with Thanos. Okay, it happened, and I feel like it has come to a closure.
Uh-huh.
So let's bring back the X-Men. They were cool. They are cool. And I think for me, I think they're cooler.
Yeah, I mean, because like
I don't know
when
if I going to turn the entire interwebs against me, but I think they are cooler. That's it. I
well,
said it.
I mean, because like when the X-Men came out, it's there's a whole a rich history about the idea of how like the mutants, or the term they phrase as how they're so much different than just a human being. So it's interesting that you have like two characters, Xavier, and we haven't even talked about Magneto yet. Of just like where their stance is, like how they can.
Equally cool. Oh, the evil guy, but equally cool. I mean, hello. Yes. Sorry. Hmm?
No, it's. I mean, it's funny because when they introduced Magneto, I mean, he started. You know, they viewed him as a villain, but as you see, like later movies of either Sir Ian's portrayal of him or even Michael Fassbender, it's almost like he's kind of gradually seen as
Mhm.
like maybe even an anti-hero, just for the fact that of how you have two people have different views of how they deal with um just the anti-mutant sentiment, and just like how
Mhm.
both view of like how they go about trying to show a way of how they can coexist of different races, different species. I'm not sure
Mhm.
what the right phrase is. So
Yeah, there has been also a thing about who are the mutants, who are the inhumans, who are the. There's another term, different
you,
terms.
you mean the Eternals?
And yeah, it's like I read in one of the articles that they stopped calling them mutants, they call them Inhuman says, hello. I was late to see the comments in my channel. Hi, Kerstin. Hi, Christy. If you guys are still watching. And Kayla, hello. Sorry, I didn't see your comments in time. But yeah, it was in one of those articles
Yep.
that you share with me that, or where did I see it? That, yeah. Um, it was like they don't call them mutants after a certain period. And then it was the Eternals
Yeah.
or the
It's right.
non-humans, not inhumans.
You had
Here it's the
so
New
like
Mutants
mhm.
also.
So you had like well before and
I can see my
I
confusion.
no, it's perfectly understandable, and I think part of it is just like how much Marvel could introduce characters without saying the term mutant, because at that time Fox had the rights or the intellectual property use of that term. So it's almost like they're trying to come up with
It's all
another.
about the money.
Yeah, exactly. And it's almost like they're hedging their bets when they brought up the Inhumans as a way as a surrogate of the mutants. And so
Hmm.
I can't help but think if like maybe they knew they were going to get the X-Men, so they had to come up with something in the short term. So which is why you don't really see much of it mentioned, or like why the Inhumans failed TV program. Well, that's another story in itself. But you had like the Inhumans who they were either humans, but then they breathe in this sort of like this mystic mist, and they kind of change their composition so that they were, I guess you could say, their Marvel's version of mutants through, I don't know how I say artificial mean, but yeah, I guess you could say artificial means to have all these extraordinary characters. Then you have the Eternals of the movie that came out last year. Yeah, last year, and they're like these well, they were like not androids, maybe AI, but
Hmm.
they had like these extraordinary powers, um, which is another. Is it a race? Uh, I see. That's why I'm not sure like how
Even
you.
you are confused, or
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And so when you have a
yeah.
combination of limitation of how you could bring in characters or how you could express it to them having a strong desire to bring the X-Men in there, it adds all this different layers of complexity, uh whether it's in the storytelling or how to treat the characters. So it's almost like having this multiverse concept allows them the flexibility to try to straighten things out, or either expand or maybe not expand on how they would um, both bring in back the X Men or how they address uh, either describe them as either mutants and humans or Eternals or however they want to do it. Um, so I feel like the combination of confusion, access of characters, and kind of handcuff of how they could tell a story kind of adds to confusion, which is why even as I'm trying to explain it, I'm like, is this the right way to talk about it?
Oi. Yes, mommy duty. Can you? Yes, I will
No
be
worries.
right back, everyone.
No
Sorry,
worries.
sorry. Yes,
So let me
you
just
can continue elaborate on the multiverse.
no worries, no worries, Anthony. All right, guys. So while Xanthi's is away, so yeah, so that's a scoop. I mean, it's just with the multiverse, introduce like a whole different dimension of just being able to either expound or maybe revise or however they want to address whether bringing mutant characters, Inhumans, or what have you. There's a lot of leeway, and it's exciting to be able to bring back characters that we haven't seen in the Marvel universe, like the X-Men. Uh, so yeah, hamana hamana. So And on that note, there we go. So,
I'm back, everyone. Hi. Sorry. Yes.
so yeah, so I was just like
Uh,
saying that with the multiverse, just being able, I think, just that concept of just being able to add a different dimension of how they could bring back the X Men. They could talk more stories about like the X Men characters or the mutants in general. If they want to blow up the whole Inhuman storyline, they can, or if they want to bring that up, I think with the multiverse, it just gives the writers, creators a flexibility of how they want to tell it. But yeah, it's a mouthful as well as a head scratcher of just to even get to this point of how they're able to adjust it. Let alone
yeah.
we haven't even talked about
Mm.
Secret Wars or anything like that, which is a whole different thing.
Yes. What I think, the way, the more we speak about this subject, how I feel about it, and thinking about the explanations and what I have been reading so far, is that even though I really, really like the actors, the choice of actors for playing uh, Xavier, I say Xavier, you say Xavier. I think it's an accent dialect thing. And Magneto, both the old Patrick Stewart and even the new ones, the younger actors, when they go back in time, I really like the actors. So, however, I feel since it has gotten so confusing with the timelines and all the different universes, it does need a reboot. And by reboot, it usually means a new set of actors.
Yeah.
But I think a reboot would be beneficial. But then again, you have iconic actors. I mean, you have Michael, what's his name? Fassbender,
Hmm.
Fassbender,
Fassbender.
Fassbender,
Or just call him Mike.
Fassbender. It's called Human.
Just call him
Exactly.
Mike.
And oh my God, I don't know. I don't remember the name of the young Xavier.
Oh, James McAvoy.
There, yes,
Mhm.
of course, James McAvoy. They are cool actors, and I will miss them. But yeah, I think a reboot would be beneficial in this case. And I was looking at our notes that we
Mhm.
have.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, and I think we have covered the trivia, the thing that before Disney bought Fox, the term mutant couldn't be used in films. So
Mhm.
that is the reason why it wasn't used. I didn't know that actually.
Yeah.
Um, and in principle, I mean, really, the differences in Marvel and Avengers and X-Men is different studios, right?
At the time, yeah.
At the time, yes. So that's why we stopped seeing X-Men so much, and they kind of, is it my idea that kind of over promote, well, not over, but promoted a lot, pushed a lot Avengers, different Avengers, a lot.
Yeah.
And it got overwhelming for me. That's why I want bring the X-Men back, bring them back.
Well, they are
And
now. So
but yeah, as you said, we have Doctor Strange, which is released 6th of May. Was it?
yeah.
Is it released?
Oh,
It's scheduled to premiere in the States 6th of May 2022.
yep. May 6th. Yep.
Um, uh, yeah, I'm just really seeing it here. So I guess we have to wait until then to see what new information we have. So we will have the follow up episode after that.
Ah, it's almost like Kristen read my mind because like between now until when Doctor Strange come out, they are having an animated series of the X Men as
Hmm.
they call it X Men '97 because back then when Fox had the animated X Men, it was very popular, and I mean at that time it was well done in the for its time in terms of being able to tell stories of collection of superheroes in that way. So it'll be interesting to see them pick it up 1997 for when the cartoon comes out. And just like Kirsten said, yeah, I'm interested to see like how um how how they pick up the characters like Rogue and Gambit, and then or they kind of left it at the cliffhanger when the cartoon ends, so it'd be interesting to see how they would pick it up from there, to tie us over until when we actually see the live version of them. So So there's that at least. So
I was watching it here and there if I saw it on TV, but I wasn't fanatically watching it a bit. But of course, I'm familiar with that. But mm, yeah, I was, yeah, just the films, movies mainly. Yeah.
I know. Well, I mean, if anything, I imagine that the writing's got to be a lot better now than it is back then. Because, like, I think it wasn't like when not to go to a different universe, but when they reintroduced Batman into the cartoon animation series, the writing was pretty well done for its period. And so I'm thinking that when they even if they bring something that old in the current form, I gotta think that the writing's gotta be better. That's more reflective to the modern times in terms of how it's depicted. So my hope is it'll be a lot better and not too campy where it's like the pow zap boom that you know traditionally see in the earlier comics. But then again, I could be wrong. So
Guess we will have to wait and see. But you said a very interesting word now. I don't know if you
pow
know what I
zoom,
mean. No, I mean word like a character. You said a very interesting character. You said Batman.
yeah, yeah. I mean, have you actually wait the new movies came out this was it this week or last week or
Yeah, let me just Google it.
okay.
Because what I wanted to say is that it gives a nice
Hmm.
pass, yeah, for the next probably episode that we might be talking about Batman.
Yep.
Mm. And the new movie. Wait, let's see. Batman called the Batman. Okay, the Batman release date March 2nd. Yeah, this week, at least here in Sweden.
Huh.
So here in Sweden, it got released yesterday.
Oh, okay. Wait,
I
today's
haven't seen it
Thursday.
yet.
I think I think it comes out tomorrow.
Let's see. US. 4th. Yes. Ah, Sweden beat you to the release of Batman.
Yeah, you guys are just much
Yes.
better. So what can I say? So
Who is going to go to the cinema on a Wednesday afternoon? Well, some people, no.
yeah, you can't
But
beat the
I
matinee
haven't.
rate.
I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Is it possible for us not to go to the cinema this weekend? Uh, do I
Is
get a
that
babysitter? Do I get a friend and leave the boys home? Hmm, I don't know. I have no idea if this new movie is going to be good or not. Uh, what do you think?
well?
Or
I like
have
I
you
like the
heard?
approach is
Hmm?
a lot different because it's. I mean, so many people are so familiar with Batman's history that I'm glad they didn't go the route where they have to retell the origin of the story and just go right into the action or the character
Mhm.
development. So, I know like I think it was like yesterday. I guess Andy Serkis was out on the interview, and it was interesting to hear him describe how he portrayed Alfred and the different dynamic that he had with Robert Pattinson's Batman in the film. So I think just the different interpretation of the relationship between the characters. I think I think that'll be interesting for the fact that it's not like something that um, they try to play like a copy of an earlier version of a Batman movie of
Mhm.
how they relate. So that should be exciting. Um,
Do you know
I'm
what I see here on IMDb?
what's that?
I see 8.9 ratings out of 10. Like,
You think it was lower or higher? Or
no, okay.
yes.
Because of Robert Pattinson,
Hmm.
many were against him because Robert Pattinson, the glittery vampire,
Hmm.
right? Poor guy, he's stuck with that. But he is working to, I guess, to get rid of that character. So I was thinking, I was maybe, I was afraid that the movie will get bad critiques because of that. However, I read also some opinions that they were thinking the same about Heath Ledger when he played the Joker,
Right.
and he blew our minds. It was an amazing Joker, like probably the best.
Right.
Then we have the the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, but that's a different story. That's another thing. Uh, So now I was a bit not skeptical. I was like, what? How is this going to be? So I'm very curious. I like him. I think he's a good actor, disregarding the Twilight thing, you know. So I don't know. I have only seen the trailer.
Right.
Uh, so I want to keep it like vanilla. I don't want to spoil it. I don't even want to see clips
Right.
or anything. I just want to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want it to be good. Mm.
Well, I mean, I haven't read too much of the reviews just because, like, lately, like, whenever people write reviews, it's almost like it's a given that they're gonna spoil some part of the movie that you didn't want to hear.
Mm,
But just,
mm,
I
mm.
think, just from like a brief cursory, I mean, it sounds like cautiously optimistic, just based on people's positive
Yes,
towards
that was
the
well
film's
said.
first thing.
Cautiously optimistic. Yes. Mm.
I'm trying to say it
Well,
I'm trying to say it non-spoilery, but at the same time, I've because like I've taken a slightly hands-off approach because I don't want to know too much about the film, but enough to know to be able to talk about it. It was like,
don't tell me anything.
yeah,
Don't say anything.
well, that's all right because
No.
that's as much as I know. So other than
Mm,
who's in the film acting, so
mm. But yeah, let's go back. I mean, to wrap up the whole X-Men and Avenger
sure,
thing, I think we have covered as much as we could before making my brain like explode with confusion, I guess.
right.
You seem to have a better understanding with all the different studios and how they were handling it. And thank you for informing me as well.
No worries.
Uh, so I guess, do you guys want to see more of X-Men? Please let us know in all wherever you are watching us, YouTube, tweets. Where else are we streaming? YouTube, tweets. We're not on Facebook.
On the live streaming friends Facebook group page,
Yes.
and
Hi, live streaming friends. Uh, Tell us, do you want to see more X-Men? Are you like, yeah, or like, okay, we have Doctor Strange. Guess we will see what happens. I'm looking forward to it actually,
yeah.
because oh my god, another hard name that I cannot say. Doctor Strange actor anyway. He's also amazing. Okay, he's great. He's
Oh,
great.
Kristen's looking forward to it, so that's one yes.
Yes, yes, good. Yes,
But
yes, yes,
it's, yeah, I
great
mean,
casting.
it'll be interesting how things unfold, but I mean, at
Mhm.
least, it's safe to say that it's not from a lack of trying in terms of what they can try to make it works for sure.
Mm. And of course, we're going to be here to comment and make an episode probably about it, or at least mention it, something, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really sure if I could imitate Batman because his voice is pretty low.
No, no. Oh, I was talking about Doctor Strange.
Oh,
I
Doctor
was talking about
Strange!
Doctor Strange. Well, but both. They're both British. If you think about both, they're both British, English, both
Uh,
of them,
I forgot about that.
and they speak American, or yeah. So
Yeah.
that's
I think
funny.
what's even funny is, like, sometimes they'll talk about how, like, people that didn't know, like, that they're not from they're from the UK, not from here, so when they talk in their native tongue, they're like, "Whoa, what? Hey, what's going on here?" So,
Do you know with whom I got this? Like, I was surprised that he's not American.
ooh,
Um, House,
really?
Hugh Laurie. Yeah, because when I was was old when he was playing Doctor House, and it took me some time, or like to see or to realize or to look at his bio that he was in Black Adder.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? It's him. Of course it's him. So yeah, he's English. Of course he's or British, or what is the best term. Yeah. But it took me some time to make the connection. And I was like, what? He's not American? No, of course not.
I
And
actually That's how I first heard about Hugh Laurie because when I did a intern out in London, I would I the first thing I turned on, it was Blackadder, and there was Hugh Laurie there, and he had like a British accent. I'm like, okay. And when he came back here, I'm like, wait a minute. I said, I know that guy. But he sounds different. Like,
yes, exactly. Oh, Blackadder, another pop culture milestone in on like a TV. but that's a okay. I don't want to. Yeah, sorry. I don't want to lose the subject. Mhm.
Kirsten says James Marster for her. I oh, so
James
he's
Masters.
was he
Let
from
me Google.
Buffy? I think he was like in on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like one of the vampires. Was he?
Oh, him.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is. Um,
Oh wait,
he's American.
oh, he's American.
Was he doing a British accent?
It's been a while. I can't remember,
Yeah, yeah, me neither.
but okay, it was Buffy. Okay, but it's
Searching will tell us.
she said
Ah, you
he.
thought he was British? Yeah, so he had an accent, but he's American. Yeah.
So for me, like I didn't know Idris Elba wasn't from the U.S. because
Who?
you know the one who played Heimdall in Thor with the big horns, the one that from Asgard, uh, Idris
Which one
Elba.
now?
I'm trying to think what other
Ah,
films.
yes, Idris Elba. Yes.
Because the only time the first time I saw him was he was in The Office, uh,
Mhm.
and so I saw when I was watching, I had no idea until like all of a sudden I saw him in an interview. I'm like, oh wait, it's
He's
not.
British.
Yeah, that was my
I
Hugh
yeah
Laurie moment, I guess, if you want to
mm,
put it that way. So,
yeah yeah. So yeah, Robert, we're approaching like an hour, 50 minutes of airtime.
all right. So,
So
so to wrap up, it's safe to assume that we're excited to see how it all unfolds in the Doctor Strange film. The fact that we haven't seen the X-Men for a while. Um, it's good that we'll.
me, I have to rewatch everything. Yes, sorry. Yes. Mm,
I'll get the finger point right.
mm,
That
yes.
it'll be. It's cool that not only in the Doctor Strange film that's coming out, but as like Kristen mentioned, that the new X-Men '97 cartoon's coming out as another opportunity to be reintroduced to those that are familiar with the X-Men. Um, and there's definitely going to be any type of hosting on either YouTube or Google or what have you, just of updates of what current projects that are coming up, as to how they'll reintegrate them. But if anything, it's exciting just to see characters we haven't seen in a while to be reintegrated. Um, do you
Correct.
know?
Mm.
Oh, Kirsten, as far as I know, it's on Disney Plus as to how you can watch the cartoon. Um, I I forget how it works with Disney Plus for those that are outside from the US as to like.
We have Disney Plus
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
We have to pay for the subscription. But yeah.
Okay. Because I know like Netflix has some sort of weird arrangement with Paramount, like where some things are on Netflix and some aren't. They're on the Paramount subscription or whatever it is, and so
Oh,
that's like
Paramount for us is different.
yeah,
As far as I have no, I think it's a different subscription.
yeah. So
But we have Disney Plus standalone. So yeah. Mm.
so at least for those that have Disney Plus, you'll be able to see X-Men '97 that way. And as far as I know, I don't know when. Let's see, May 6th is the new Doctor Strange film.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
So June episode, it's it's safe to say that we might be talking about that.
yeah. Well, this is still March, right? Get my
It's March,
months
so
mixed
we
up.
have April, May. Time flies, Robert.
Yeah. I mean, I still think it's February. I had to look at the calendar to
No,
make sure that it's March. So
I know. It is. It is. We are 3 days into March, and on the next episode, we haven't really established it what we're going to talk about, but probably Batman.
either Batman. I've had some people asking about Star Wars. I think we talked
Right.
about maybe like talking
We
about
will
like
have a meeting.
about decade,
Mhm.
but we'll iron out as soon as we do. We'll let you guys know. But definitely
We will
interesting
let you
stuff.
know. Yes. So make sure to follow us on our social media that we have. Where do we have our social media? In the description down
It's
below.
yep. if you're watching on Xanthi's YouTube channel, or on the Shalala Productions YouTube channel, we left the links there as to how you can follow us, whether it's on um, Facebook,
Yes.
Twitter, YouTube. For me, if you want to reach out
Yes.
to me on LinkedIn. So there's many ways you can find us, or either just leave a comment of wherever you're watching if you have any questions, or have anything for us. But um, I think that's everything.
Suggestions for
Suggestions.
upcoming shows.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
definitely let us know, like, if you're excited about the X-Men, or if you have a preference of what you want us to talk about next month. Leave in the comments. We'll look out for it, and
Yes.
we'll hash it all
Mm.
out before you know it.
Yes. Our show podcast is monthly, so we usually make the episode in the beginning of the month. And stay tuned. Also, follow us to know about when the next show will be live.
Yep, because like eventually, if
Mm.
once we nail down a specific date and time, we'll be able
If
to.
we ever, that's totally up to me. My fault. Sorry, but
No, no
it's
worries.
usually Thursdays can seem to work. So maybe first Thursday of the month, like something like that. Mm.
Yep, that's why I like to keep it loose and flexible, just for the fact that anything can happen. That's why we always say just watch our
Family,
postings.
life, work. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Mm.
but uh, but on that note, I think I think I think that's everything.
That's
Unless
it.
we forgot anything.
Yeah. Thank you everyone so much for watching us and listening to us and participating in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, let us know what you think in the comments. Mm. And it's 10 minutes to 10 here p.m. It's night. It's bedtime for me, like uh, now.
Yeah,
Um,
we want you to turn into a pumpkin in front of us, so that would be good for
no,
Halloween, though.
no, I have 2 hours until midnight. Okay.
All
But
right, folks,
yes, thanks everyone.
and I will
And
start to look for the end creds. But until next
yes,
time, thanks for watching,
yes.
and we will catch you guys later.
Bye bye.